Rain lashed the attic windows, wind howled. 10-year-old Sophie, bored, explored. Dust-covered furniture loomed, shadows dancing in the weak light from the single bulb. She shivered. A glint beneath a faded tapestry caught her eye. Sophie pulled the fabric away. A wooden chest, carved with strange symbols, sat nestled in the corner. Her heart pounded with a thrill of discovery. This attic, usually so dull, held secrets. Sophie knelt and lifted the heavy lid. The scent of mildew and something faintly sweet, like old perfume, wafted up. Inside, nestled in yellowed lace, lay a doll. The doll's porcelain face was beautiful, but unsettling. Its features were meticulously crafted, each detail adding to its eerie charm. It had rosy cheeks, delicate lips, and piercing blue eyes that seemed to follow Sophie's movements. The eyes, though lifeless, held a depth that made Sophie feel as if the doll was watching her every move. Her once bright hair, now a dusty blonde, peeked from under a faded pink bonnet. The bonnet, though worn and tattered, hinted at a time when the doll was cherished and loved. Sophie gently lifted the doll. It was heavier than she expected. The weight of the doll surprised her, making her wonder about its age and the materials used to create it. As she brushed away the dust, she noticed something strange. The more she cleaned, the more she felt a connection to the doll, as if it was revealing its secrets to her. The doll's mouth seemed to move, forming a silent word. Sophie leaned in closer, trying to decipher the word, but it remained elusive. Sophie shook her head. It must be her imagination. She had always been fascinated by old things, but this doll was different. Still, she felt a shiver run down her spine. The room seemed to grow colder, and the air felt heavy with an unspoken presence. The doll, despite its beauty, had a strange aura, almost sinister. It was as if the doll held memories of a past that was both enchanting and haunting. Intrigued, Sophie carried it downstairs, determined to uncover its story. She felt a mix of excitement and trepidation, eager to learn more about the doll's origins and the secrets it might hold. She placed the doll on the table, its eyes still seemingly fixed on her. Sophie took a deep breath, ready to delve into the mystery that lay before her. She reached for an old book with yellowed pages, hoping it might contain some clues about the doll's past. The book was filled with stories of forgotten times, and Sophie hoped to find a connection. As she read, she felt the doll's presence more intensely. It was as if the doll was guiding her, leading her to uncover its hidden history. The candle flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, and Sophie knew she was on the brink of discovering something extraordinary. With a determined look, Sophie continued her search, ready to face whatever secrets the doll had to reveal. The journey had just begun, and she was prepared for whatever lay ahead. That night, Sophie placed the doll on her bedside table. As she lay in bed, the storm raged outside, mirroring the unease growing inside her. She could have sworn she heard a faint whisper, "Help me." She sat up, heart pounding. The doll's blue eyes seemed to gleam in the darkness. Sophie told herself it was just the wind. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone. The next day, the whispers started again, faint and chillingly close to her ear. "Find her," the voice seemed to say. "Find Eliza." The doll's blue eyes were fixated on Sophie, filled with a strange urgency. Driven by the doll's whispers and her own growing curiosity, Sophie began searching the attic. She found old diaries, faded photographs, and forgotten toys, each offering a glimpse into her family's past. Then, behind a loose floorboard, she found a small, leather-bound diary. Its cover was blank, except for a name etched in faded ink: Eliza. Sophie's grandmother, her namesake, whom she had never met. The diary's entries revealed a chilling secret. Eliza had owned a beloved doll, a porcelain beauty with a pink dress and a haunting secret. But the entries ended abruptly, leaving Sophie with more questions than answers. Section 5. The Confrontation. Sophie confronted her parents that evening, the old diary clutched in her hand. The air was thick with tension, and the room seemed to close in around them. She had spent countless nights poring over the diary, piecing together fragments of a story that had been hidden from her for so long.
"What happened to Eliza's doll?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Yet it carried the weight of her curiosity and dread.
She demanded, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and fascination. The diary had hinted at dark secrets, and now she needed answers. Her parents exchanged a look, a mixture of sadness and apprehension flitting between them. They had hoped this day would never come, but the past has a way of resurfacing. They revealed a truth buried deep within the family's past, a tragedy that had silenced their own childhood home. The diary's worn pages had held the key to a story they had tried to forget. Eliza, they explained, had claimed her doll, whispered to her, revealing unsettling secrets about their family. The doll had become a vessel for the family's darkest truths, a silent witness to their hidden sorrows. Secrets that led to arguments, accusations, and ultimately Eliza's untimely demise. The family had been torn apart by the revelations, each member grappling with their own guilt and grief. The doll, they said, was gone, discarded in the wake of the tragedy. It had been a symbol of their pain, and they had hoped that by getting rid of it, they could also rid themselves of the haunting memories. But some things, Sophie realized, could never truly be forgotten. Section 6. A ghostly truth. Sophie, however, knew the truth. The doll wasn't gone. It was here in her hands, its blue eyes watching, its presence a constant, unsettling weight. The whispers, the diary, it all pointed to a terrifying reality. Eliza's doll was no ordinary toy. Fear warred with a strange sense of responsibility. Sophie felt an inexplicable connection to her namesake, a need to understand her story, to unravel the secrets that had haunted her family for generations. Sleep offered no escape. The doll's whispers became clearer, more insistent.
"They don't believe you. They will never believe you."
Driven to the brink, Sophie returned to the attic. She placed the doll on the old wooden chest.
"Tell me what happened. Tell me the truth about Eliza."
The doll didn't move. Its blue eyes stared straight ahead. Then slowly its head turned. It looked at Sophie, and for the first time it spoke. Its voice, small and high-pitched, sent chills down her spine.
"She knew too much. She saw what they tried to hide. They silenced her, but they couldn't silence me."
The doll's confession revealed a web of lies and deceit, of dark secrets buried beneath generations of silence. Eliza hadn't simply died, she had been silenced, her voice choked by the truth she'd uncovered.
"They think they're safe, but you know the truth now."
Terror gripped Sophie. The doll's words echoed in the silence of the attic, a chilling prophecy that sent shivers down her spine. She knew she had to act, to break the cycle of silence, but how could she fight a force so ancient, so evil? Sophie, heart-pounding, grabbed the old chest. She shoved the doll inside, slamming the lid shut. The whispers continued, muffled but full of rage. She had to get rid of it, but how? She remembered reading about haunted objects trapped in containers, their power contained. Sophie found heavy chains, wrapping them tightly around the chest. It wouldn't hold forever, but it would buy her time. The attic was silent now, the air thick with dust and memories long forgotten. The wooden beams creaked under the weight of time, and the faint smell of old wood and mildew filled the space. The doll's whispers silenced for now. Its glassy eyes seemed to follow anyone who dared to enter, a silent guardian of secrets best left undisturbed. Sophie had stopped the cycle, but at a cost. The weight of her actions bore heavily on her shoulders, a burden she would carry for the rest of her life. She knew the truth about Eliza, about her family's past, and the dark legacy that had been passed down through generations. Each photograph told a story, each face a reminder of the pain and suffering that had been endured, and the price of silence, the unspoken agreement to keep the horrors hidden, to protect the family name at all costs. But Sophie knew that some truths could not be buried forever. She left the chest in the attic, its contents a testament to the darkness that had once consumed her family. The cobwebs that clung to it were like the memories that refused to fade, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. The shadows seemed to move of their own accord, whispering secrets that only Sophie could hear. Sophie vowed to never forget Eliza, to keep her memory alive in her heart. The doll was a symbol of that promise, a reminder of the innocence that had been lost, to honor her memory by speaking out against injustice, no matter the cost. Sophie knew that silence was no longer an option, that she had to be the voice for those who could no longer speak. The storm outside had subsided, the rain leaving a trail of tears on the window pane. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. But a chill remained in the air, a reminder that the past was never truly gone. The cold seeped into her bones, a constant companion in her journey, a lingering fear that whispered in the shadows. The darkness seemed to have a life of its own, always watching, always waiting. The doll may have been silenced, but its presence lingered, a silent witness to the horrors that had unfolded. Its cracked porcelain face was a testament to the fragility of innocence, a constant reminder that some secrets are best left buried, hidden away from prying eyes. The earth held its own secrets, and some things were better left undisturbed, and some toys are better left untouched. The attic was a graveyard of forgotten memories, each toy a relic of a past that refused to stay buried.